What's up, my Century units? It's the Century Man here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. So this time I'm going to review WWE TLC 2009, the first TLC pay-per-view in WWE history, at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, on the 13th of December 2009. The attendance for the show was 15,226. This show received about 228,000 pay-per-view buys, a upgrade than the previous year's pay-per-view. That was the final Armageddon pay-per-view in WWE history. The main event of that show was a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. That was Edge versus Triple H versus Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy won that triple threat match, become the WWE Champion for the first time, and he went on to win 2 more world titles at the end of his second run with the company during the feud with CM Punk, and he went on to win more world titles in later years in TNA. Another story for another time. The final Armageddon pay-per-view received about 193,000 pay-per-view buys. Anyway, so we're in the dawn of the gimmick-themed pay-per-views in WWE history. They've been doing gimmick-themed pay-per-views since 2009 with Extreme Rules, Hell in a Cell, Bragging Rights, this show, TLC, and then the following year in 2010 introduced the first Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, Money in the Bank. Jesus Christ. It's funny, in our current timeline, WWE is slowly breaking out of doing these gimmick-themed pay-per-views and replaced with pay-per-views with bad names in recent years, like Great Balls of Fire, what's it called? Stomping Ground. What's the new pay-per-view they're gonna do? Day One. You know, the first day of 2022. Jesus Christ! I wish they go back to doing these old pay-per-views in the past, in the Ruthless Aggression era. Like bring back, yeah, they did bring back Backlash and No Mercy in recent years. I wish they bring back, you know, yeah, No Mercy, No Way Out, Judgment Day, Unforgiven, Armageddon, Vengeance, Bad Blood, New Year's Resolution. I like Cyber Sunday. I think that was a good gimmick themed pay-per-view, but because we're in the dawn of the social media era in the real world, but I don't see that they're gonna bring it back, but that's just me. But anyway, so the commentators for the show are Michael Cole, Joe the King Lawler, and Matt Striker. I might be wrong. I think this is the time when WWE started doing the 3-man commentary team. I understand why they did it, because WCW did it in the 90s, in the early 2000s, before that company went out of business. Yeah, it's just like they just cannot do it. Yeah, AEW did it right now with Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, but yeah, it's some success. But with WWE doing it, doing the 3-man commentary team, it's just really like, nah, I hate that. I don't want to get into it. It's just, you know, I don't know why they did that. You know, I think it's the first without Jim Ross. It's a damn shame, but it's just what it is. Matt Striker, he was not really that good as a commentator. People say he's underrated, but he was actually he was okay. I think he got better in Lucha Underground. I think he's with Impact Wrestling right now. I might be wrong about this. Don't quote me. Anyway, so the first match to kick off this show, we had the ladder match for the ECW Championship. Oh, by the way, the dark match, you had R-Truth defeating CM Punk. Why? Because Punk he kind of lost some momentum with the whole losing the world title against The Undertaker, but losing to R-Truth, really? I don't get it. That was in the dark match. So anyway, so the first match to kick off the show, we got a ladder match for the ECW Championship. Christian defending the belt against Shelton Benjamin, the gold standard. And this, in my opinion, this is match of the night. Because Christian and Shelton Benjamin had history in ladder matches over the years, you know. it was back and forth, a lot of ladder spots. Christian bled in this match. He trying to pick up a ladder, trying to throw it onto Shelton Benjamin outside the ring. Shelton basically tripped up Christian, and the ladder dropped on his face. He didn't bled buckets. He bled a little bit around his forehead, eye and forehead area, and then he got like this WWE doctor coming out to wipe out the blood. And the fans booed because at this moment in time they just banned blood. It's been 1 year since they went PG. They kind of relaxed over the years, but yeah, people just don't like to see the match stop due to someone bled. I don't get it. Anyway, so I think Shelton hit like a swanton bomb onto Christian. This was out in the ring area. Um, I think Christian hit Shelton Benjamin with a frog splash off the top rope. I think it was off the top rope and put Shelton Benjamin through a ladder next to the ring apron and the Spanish announce table. Yeah, Christian climbed the ladder and also there's one spot. Yeah, I think Shelton Benjamin was going for like a sunflip powerbomb. Christian counted into a monkey flip into the corner of the ring. That was impressive. Yeah, Christian did that move like I think it was a ladder or he hit like a frog splash up the top rope or a ladder, can't remember, onto Shelton Benjamin onto this tourist ladder near to the ring apron and the Spanish announce table. And yeah, Christian climbed up the ladder in the ring and retrieved the title and retains the ECW championship. So yeah, this was match of the night, and this was the second to last pay-per-view that the ECW title was defended. The last pay-per-view that the ECW title was defended on a pay-per-view was the Royal Rumble the following month, and then in February ECW was officially no more. This was before the dawn of the game show version of NXT and NXT 1.0. Right now we're in NXT 2.0. Don't want to get into it. So it's a damn shame that like Shelton Benjamin never like won a world title. I don't think he's gonna win a world title ever again because he's part of the Hurt Business, but I feel like the two guys should have really won the world title or the ECW title in that time period in 2009 were William Regal or Shelton Benjamin. It would be added to the nice feather caps. That's just me. Yeah, Seiko Jackson become the last ECW world champion. It didn't amount to anything because he part of the core. He went on to win the IC title the following year in 2011. But it's just I don't want to get into it. So, but besides that, it was it was match of the night. It was a good match to kick off the pay-per-view. In my opinion, the show really went downhill ever since, until the final two matches on the show. That's just me. So the next match, this is for the Intercontinental Championship. John Morrison defended the belt against Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre came out with crappy generic music. I like Broken Dreams. He ended up like, I think it was 2010. He ended up like coming out with Broken Dreams. That was way better. I don't like his current theme music with the bagpipes. It's what it is. It's typical. Yeah, they're basically stereotypical Drew because he's from Scotland. I like Broken Dreams. Anyway, so Drew McIntyre was basically handpicked by Vince McMahon as the chosen one. His first pay-per-view match was against R-Truth at Hell in a Cell in October. And then he's now challenging John Morrison for the IC title. There's one segment on SmackDown. He had basically John Morrison came out dressing up like William Wallace. That kind of expired Drew's character of right now. I guess. But anyway, so the match was okay. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't great, but at the same time, wasn't bad. It was thumbed right down the middle of quality. It felt like it's a match on SmackDown, not on a pay-per-view that people spend a lot of money. It was 10 minutes long. I found it a little bit boring, but it didn't really stand up for me like the previous match. I think it was more of it was basically the crowd kind of calmed down after the ladder match from the opener. Anyway, in the end, I think Morrison hit Drew with the Starship Pain. Drew got his hands on the ropes in the last minute, when the referee did the freak out. In the end, Drew poked John Morrison in the eye, hit the Future Shot DDT to win this match and become the Intercontinental Champion for the first time. I think he's the first Briton since William Regal in the early 2000s. And I think he's the only Scottish guy to win the IC title. In the history of IC champions, there was two wrestlers come from the UK won the title were William Regal, or three actually. William Regal, Drew McIntyre, and then Wade Barrett. And yeah, I don't really count Finn Balor because Balor is from the Republic of Ireland. That's not part of the UK. So anyway, so Drew ended up holding the belt until the spring the following year. I'm guessing April or May. He lost the title to Kofi Kingston. It was basically the big high profile win for Drew McIntyre in his first run in WWE, and then 10 years later he won the Rumble and become a two-time WWE champion. Anyway, so let's move on. So the next match, this is for the Women's Championship. By the way, there's first of 3 non-gimmick themed matches on the show, because TLC, the gimmick of TLC, it's really a match is around a ladder match, a tables match, a chairs match, and a TLC match. It's basically watered down the match types of a TLC, not just TLC, but with, this is the problem with gimmick themed pay-per-views. It watered down the match types like Hell in the Cell, Elimination Chamber, TLC, Extreme Rules. You get my drift. Anyway, so the next match, match number 3, we got the women's title match. Michelle McCool with Layla, one half of Layla. Layla in Michelle McCool's corner, defending the belt against Mickie James. This was crap, and came off of the segment on SmackDown when Michelle McCool did the whole Piggy James angle, basically making fun of Mickie James's weight. I think she had a weight problem at the time. They did it years later with Alexa Bliss, making fun of Mickie James of her age. That was a bit better than this. It's poor in taste. Layla is basically WWE's version of the Beautiful People in TNA. Instead of a trio, it's a duo. I like the Beautiful People more than Layla. Layla came across annoying. I don't like the Iconics in WWE. I kind of like them a little bit in Impact Wrestling. That's another story for another time. So yeah, it was just a poor in taste to have this segment on SmackDown when Michelle McCool making fun of Mickie James's weight, and also then also you had Layla came out wearing a bodysuit. Come on, man, it's just poor in taste, and it's not cool. And then this set up the WWE ended up setting up the Be a Star anti-bullying campaign. I don't want to get into that. So anyway, the match was okay for what it is. It was okay. It was a little bit interference of Layla. In the end of the match, Michelle trying to hit Mickie with the big boot. Mickie got out of the way. Michelle hit Layla accidentally with the big boot. Mickie James was going for the roll-up, but Michelle McCool kicked out. Michelle hit the big boot on Mickie James for the win. Very weak. I wish just like Michelle McCool hit the Faith Breaker for the win. The one wrestler I compare Michelle McCool, one wrestler from the current timeline we're in WWE, I compare her to Charlotte Flair. They're both two good wrestlers, but I think I find them a little bit annoying. That's just me. And by the way, Mickie James ended up winning the women's title the following month at the Royal Rumble, getting revenge. It's just but the Piggy James storyline, or the angle. Come on, man, it's stupid, man. It's okay. It's just like it's so cheap. It's just so cheap. So let's move. I'm moving on. So anyway, so the next match. This is a tables match for the WWE Championship. John Cena defending the belt against Sheamus. Sheamus debuted. He debuted in the spring of 2009. He was in developmental before that. He was in WWE before that. Yeah, he signed with the company in 2006. Yeah, he was in developmental for a long time before getting called up to the ECW brand in the spring of 2009. Actually, in the summer of 2009, in June. Then he went on to go to Raw. He debuted on Raw, I think it was in October time. Yeah, the announcer said it. He debuted in October. He basically self-proclaimed injury. He really ended the career of JB Noble. He ended up becoming the backstage producer of WWE, and also came back years later to be part of the J&J Security. part of the authority era in WWE in the early to mid 2010s. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so Sheamus won a battle royal to face John Cena for the title on this show. Yeah, it was picked. It was because WWE was doing the whole guest host era of Monday Night Raw. The guest host when Sheamus won that battle royal was Jesse the Body Ventura. Anyway, so I think it was on the Go Home show. You had basically Sheamus put Cena through a table. They kind of backed themselves in the corner on this one. So anyway, so because on one hand, I'll get to that. I'll get to the why WWE backed themselves in the corner a little bit later on. So anyway, so yeah, they're really hyping up Sheamus as the serious threat. He ended up like hitting, was it I think he hit like Jamie Noble and Jerry the King Lawler with the big boot. It'll be later on become the bro kick. Anyway, so the match between John Cena and Sheamus, this was not good. I feel like it's a match you probably see on Monday Night Raw, but not on a pay-per-view that you're spending a lot of money. I find it very boring and just boring, to be honest. Not really interested. The ending was bullshit and it was not that good. So basically, it's Sheamus and Cena kind of fighting on top of on the top rope. And, it's protecting John Cena like he never got pinned or submitted. But he's not going to get submitted because he's John Cena. He's never give up. So they do this weakest finish. So basically, the rules of this tables match, you have to put a wrestler through a table with a finishing move. But Sheamus didn't really hit Cena. He didn't really put Cena through a table. I'm trying to say. He didn't really put Cena through a table. He didn't. He basically, I don't think, if he pushed Cena through a table, that is weak. That is completely weak. But see, it looks like Cena accidentally fall through a table. That's just like, really? They come up with this crap? I don't get it. I simply do not get it, man. If Sheamus put Cena through a table with a finishing move, that'll be good. But like that bullshit, nah, come on now. It looks like Cena slipped or something. I don't know. I don't think Sheamus pushed him. So it's a fluke. Sheamus' win was a fluke. It was an absolute fluke. Like I said, I think WWE backed themselves in the corner because on one hand, you don't want Cena beating like Sheamus, bearing a young talent. We get that the following year with the Nexus, Another Story for Another Time. By the way, check my review of SummerSlam 2010. But at the same time, I believe it's too soon to put the belt on Sheamus. Yeah, Cena came off, ending the feud with Randy Orton. He had that filler feud with DX over Hornswoggle. Give me a break. But with Sheamus, come on now. I like Sheamus, but I think this match and also squashing Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 28 in 2012. Come on now, it really hurts Sheamus. Sheamus' time, he never had great WWE title reigns. He ended up he held the belt until February the following year in 2010. Lost the title back to Cena in the Elimination Chamber match, and then Cena ended up dropping the belt to Batista. And then he went on to win the WWE title again in the following year in 2010 at the Fatal 4-Way show. Another forgettable gimmick-themed pay-per-view, and then another crap title reign, and then his most forgettable recent title reign was in 2015. Don't want to get into it. No, I'm not going to touch that one in the Barge poll. But it's just like, come on now. It's just like, I understand, but I wish they did like a better finish to end this match. So, moving on to the next match. This is a chairs match for the World Heavyweight Championship. The Undertaker defended the belt against Batista. After Batista turned heel, he turned heel at bragging rights on Rey Mysterio. He did the whole, you're supposed to be my friend, He ended up beating Rey in his hometown in Washington, D.C. at Survivor Series the previous month. And then he's now moving on to face The Undertaker for the World title. For weeks now, he ended up attacking The Undertaker with a chair to get some heat. Anyway, so it's just what it is. They had better matches. Undertaker and Batista had one of the best feuds in 2007. Fast forward 2 years later in 2009, this is the worst match in the history of the feud between The Undertaker and Batista. I feel like this is in the PG era. I feel like it was so stripped down and just no physical thing in this match. It was I thought it was boring. 13 minutes of boredom. You know, no physicality, no oof and whiff. It's just like two guys fighting just in the ring, punch, chair shots. Yeah, they had the chair shot to the head. You know, it's funny that 2 years later at WrestleMania in 2011, in the match between Undertaker Triple H, the holds barred match. You know, when Triple H hits Undertaker in the head with a chair, and I think Triple H got in trouble backstage. You know, I think it was somewhere because at the time they're still doing chair shots to the head. I think it was about 2011. I think it was 2010 or 2011. They decided to ban chair shot to the head. You know, like concussion rate. I get it. Anyway, so with another crappy finish, like the previous match. So basically, I think Taker was going for the Tombstone Power Driver, but Batista low blow the Undertaker. Hit Taker in the head with the chair to win this match and become the World Heavyweight Champion. I think he become a 7-time World Champion. Unfortunately, Theodore Long, aka Teddy Long, came out. Basically, not reverse the decision, but restart the match because when Batista low blow the Undertaker, that's not okay. This is a decade before the whole bullshit with Seth Rollins versus Fiend inside Hell in a Cell. And then let's talk about the end of this match. So yeah, Theodore Long restart the match. Undertaker hit Batista in the back with the chair. Hit the Tombstone Power Driver for the win. Why? This is a no DQ match. They could, low blows is allowed. And did Theodore Long was a heel when he screwed the Undertaker out of the world title in his feud with CM Punk? You know, in the submission match at Breaking Point. I don't get it. Now he's also in a babyface. Don't get it. It just made Batista like a jamoke. Both Undertaker and Batista, like the two matches, Sheamus, John Cena, Undertaker and Batista, those matches, they never got over in those matches. You know, it's just basically just dumb. You know, they could swap the match types around. You know, Sheamus, John Cena had the chairs match, and Undertaker, Batista had the tables match. You know, that's just me, but I don't get it. It made Batista like a chump. He ended up winning the WWE title in February at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view after he defeat John Cena after Cena competed in that Elimination Chamber match. And that was his last world title win in his career of Dave Batista before pursuing a career in Hollywood. Anyway, so it's just fucking stupid. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, after the 4 matches on the show, it was a bit of a breath of fresh air. We got Randy Orton taking on Kofi Kingston. This was, they started this feud properly I think it was at Survivor, basically at Bracken Rights, when basically Kofi interfered in the Iron Man match between John Cena and Randy Orton. Then it continued at Survivor Series, and then on the Raw in Madison Square Garden, when Kofi Kingston boom dropped Randy Orton through a table near the equipment area. Yeah, you can tell Kofi was starting to gain some momentum. I think he also not smashed but damaging Randy Orton's car. So he got some whiff about it. The match was, the match was. I think it was a decent match. I think it's this match takes the 3rd place, the bronze medal on this show. Besides that, I'll get to my final thoughts in the end. Trying to keep it short and simple, folks. So the match was a good match. Kofi hit the Trouble in Paradise onto Orton. Orton got his hand on the ropes in the last minute before the referee did the 3 count. Orton was going for the punk kick, but instead of hitting Kofi in the head, he kind of kicked Kofi in the arm. Kofi was selling the arm injury. I think he hit like a arm DDT on the injured arm, and then Kofi was going for like another Trouble in Paradise. Orton hit the RKO for the win. It kind of squandered Kofi's momentum. And he never recovered. Yeah, he was WWE champion 10 years later, but I don't want to get into that. it kind of hurt his reign when he was still part of the New Day. Don't want to get into it, but yeah, it really squandered. I don't say he buried Kofi Kingston. He ended up becoming United States champion, IC champion, and multiple time tag team champions over the 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Before the dawn of the New Day. Jesus Christ, I don't want to get into that. So, and by the way, Orton ended up being in the WWE title picture the following month at the Royal Rumble against Sheamus. I don't want to get into it. Watch my review of WWE Royal Rumble 2010, for more information. So, let's move on to the main event. The main event, this is the one and only TLC match for the unified WWE Tag Team Championships. We've got Jericho, that is Chris Jericho, and the Big Show defending the belts against D-Generation X, that is Shawn Michaels and Triple H. So it was booked by the guest host for Monday Night Raw, Jesse Ventura, and the TLC match. This is the second place. I take it. This is the second best match of the show. Like I said, get to my final thoughts in the end. So anyway, I found this match was a bit boring. It's not a classic TLC match. There've been bad TLC matches in the past, but it's not the best one. It was a good one for what it is. So, basically Big Show attempted he chokeslam, I think it was Shawn Michaels, and thrown Triple H into a table near the barricade. And Big Show got pissed off a ladder. He broke a ladder, the tallest ladder in this match, because he can't climb the ladder. It's funny, he ended up introduced his own ladders. I think it was at Money in the Bank in 2010 or even 2012. It's one or the other, but anyway, so Jericho, I think they tend to do I think Jericho trying to climb the ladder with a broken half ladder. That was completely stupid. There was one created spot. It's funny, basically, Triple H and Shawn Michaels did an assisted pedigree onto the Big Show. It was okay, but one great spot for me, you had Jericho trying to grab the towels on the shoulders of the Big Show, and Shawn Michaels kicked the Big Show with the switching music in the gut, and then it made Jericho fall off the Big Show, and basically kind of landed onto a table or the edge of the table. I heard Jericho botch a move. I didn't really see that. I let it slide. So, and also the ending, you had Shawn Michaels grabbing the broken ladder. Triple H hold the piece of the broken ladder. Shawn Michaels climb it to grab the tag team titles and become the tag team champions for the one and only time. It was a good win for DX. Because this is in San Antonio, Texas. Shawn Michaels' hometown. I get it. I think it was a little late to have DX winning the tag team titles. They should have won the tag team belts in 2006 with the feud with the Spirit Squad, or in 2007 with Rated RKO. But it was a good win for DX. It's I think they technically don't really need to become tag team champions because Shawn Michaels, Triple H, been tag team champions in the past. Shawn Michaels were in the tag team, won the tag team titles with Diesel and Austin. Triple H, the only person who won the tag team belts was Stone Cold Steve Austin. The two-man power trip in the Attitude Era in 2001. It's just what it is. But Jericho, that was the best hybrid tag team since Rated RKO. I like the theme music. Well, break the walls down. Basically Big Show. It was the original tag team was supposed to be Jericho and Edge. But Edge got hurt, injured his Achilles tendon, so Big Show was filling in for Edge for the rest of the tag team title reign. They never won the tag team titles ever again. Jericho, they end up on Raw, they had the rematch that ended in a DQ. Don't want to get into it, and then DX end up holding on the belts until February, until dropping the tag team belts to Sheamus. That was stupid. That was a crappy hybrid tag team. Basically the Miz was basically a substitute to Chris Jericho, and then DX went on their separate ways. Because Shawn Michaels ended up facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26, and Triple H ended up facing Sheamus. So it's just what it is. So good moment. The TLC match, not a classic, but it was good. It was a fun TLC match to watch. So my final rating for TLC 2009, I give it a 6 out of 10. I was planning to give it a 7.5 out of 10, but nah, I give it 6 out of 10. This was a thumb in the middle of a show. It wasn't bad, but at the same time, wasn't great. It was an okay pay-per-view. The matches in the bad has to be the tables match for the WWE Championship and the chairs match for the World Heavyweight Championship. In the okay, you can put John Morrison versus Drew for the IC title, Michelle McCool versus Mickie James for the women's title. It was okay matches, but nothing special. But in the good, like Randy Orton versus Kofi, it was a decent, good match. The two matches truly stand out for me were the ladder match for the ECW Championship and the TLC match, Jericho versus DX. But yeah, this is a show I'd rather skip if you got this on the network. So anyway, so hope you enjoyed my review of WWE TLC 2009. Leave your thoughts on the comment section below. Smash the like. Subscribe to the Central Network on YouTube. Be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time, the final episode of the year, a half year of Punk, because I started in June when I reviewed the Raw when Punk cut the pipe bomb promo. Let's review TLC 2011. Hope that show is way better than TLC 2009. This is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later, folks.